Being in law enforcement can be fun and rewarding. Just a few miles from the border, migrants are brought here to get their paperwork as Kim Potter's trial is scheduled to start soon. After days under that bridge, you know those people who wait until the very last minute to get any Christmas shopping done?
It's about that time for us to start planting watermelons.
His name is Jeremy Peaches.
The plantation owner, John L. Hebron, he grew peach trees and he grew crops in between them. So if you look at our last name, I guess my family took care of the peaches.
Now Mr. Peaches is growing his own crops on Fresh Life Organic Farm in Texas to the beat of his own drum.
This is the life of a farmer. Big truck, big tractor, long rows.
While he finds the time to have fun, he says running a farm is a lot of work. If this Texas abortion law goes back into effect, medical providers are afraid of the impact it will have over time.
We're going to go back to the same way. Women will find somewhere, somehow, to do this, to themselves, to help. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a lot more deaths. Women are going to die because of that.
That's also what his book, Officer Friendly Takes on Scary Police, is about.
Ever since that day, Cooley wasn't afraid of the police anymore. He also grew up to become officer friendly.
Outside of work, he feels the book would expand his impact.
If I can create a book and I can get that book in front of more kids than I can go and talk to, the lesson is going to go way further than what I can do by myself.
Jeremy is sometimes conflicted, living as a black man and police officer.
We're here to get some supplies, to get the help that we need so that way we can have some water and, whatever they provide snack-wise. They even provide some bagels.
The Louisiana Cajun Navy knew there was a need.
You see over the years, like since 2005, you think that we had come a lot further than that. But if this is what God wanted, was us all coming together this way, then I just believe that, we can just all be the light in the darkness right now.
Darkness, literally, is impacting hundreds of thousands of people still without power in the state. These volunteers are offering some help. Sitting in his living room during the storm, he saw it falling apart.
It's messed up in there, man. All the roof caving, got water, got, installation all over the place, man.
The impact is still seen days after Ida.
We don't have no water, stoves in our clothes, we don't have no lights. I mean, it's hard.
Restoring power and cleaning up could take weeks. Hours after Hurricane Nicholas's landfall in southeast Texas, crews blocked some roads from potential danger. Some drivers tried getting through flooded streets. Some drove around it.
Does Santa look like me?
Black children seeing Santa Claus as a black man.
It makes me reflect on my childhood and the fact that at that particular time, I didn't see a Santa that looked like me.
When working as Santa, he hopes children take away a little more sense of self after meeting him.
Any individual, no matter what their race is, they should go look up what's in this vaccine, the effects of the vaccine, and whether it's for them or not.
Joshua believes the effort does not help with the lack of trust some in black communities have with the government.
With as strong as the opposition is with the white community with vaccines, somebody has to let me know why they're so focused on the black community.
About 30 minutes south of Houston, the Black Cowboy Museum is the only in the country. And the owner tells me because this exists, he is able to educate his visitors about a hidden piece of black history. Black cowboys have been around for centuries.
He was a slave. He was a servant. He was the person that did all the work on the ranch.
Cowboys would use these whips to round up cows for slave owners.
Hey boy, go get that cow. That's my cowboy.
Black cowboys like Larry Callis still exist today, but in a much different fashion. He has turned his history into a sport, winning rodeo competitions, but he also focuses on teaching the youth. Inside his museum, there are artifacts from the Old West, as well as pictures of historically famous black cowboys riding bulls and horses.
If I didn't keep it up and keep it alive, people wouldn't even know about the black cowboys. I mean, I'm the only black cowboy museum in the world.
Larry comes from generations of cowboys.
And my job was to work cows, and to work on a ranch, and help my dad back in the 60s.
For Cowboy Larry, it's all about preserving black history.
They just wanted to let it fade out. They didn't want people to know about the black cowboy.
Why is that?
That's just the life in America.
In the 4 years the museum has been open, thousands of guests have stopped by to learn more about the Black Cowboy.
Oh man, it's incredible. I mean, I'm just floored. When I first opened this little small museum, I just wanted to talk about the Black Cowboys in Texas. Now I'm talking about the cowboys all over the world.
In Rosenberg, Texas, I'm Derek Lewis for BNC. Representation is important, and families say that is why there is such a need now for a very different type of Santa. He has on his big white gloves, a shiny red suit, and a very familiar hat. This Santa is ready for Christmas, and he's black.
Families need to see reflections that look exactly like them. It's important to their socioeconomic growth, their physical growth, their emotional growth.
Major retail stores are pushing for Black Santas. For a few years, Natasha Roberts brought her children to Black Santa Houston.
This is our new tradition of Black Santa in Houston.
Having her children see a reflection of themselves is important to her.
Sometimes seeing these other Santas, I want them to know that there's a Santa that looks just like them, that looks like their dads, their uncles. And for me, it just means the world to me, because a lot of times I feel as if we're not celebrated in the right way.
As more companies search for Black Santas, hiring any Santa is coming as a challenge during the pandemic. Combined with a nationwide worker shortage, and given that older adults are more likely to get very sick from COVID-19, Santas are in short supply.
COVID has been a little distraction, but because of Christmas and Santa, we have to make sure that we still give kids that magical moment.
Natasha does not believe there has to be one or the other when it comes to how Santa looks. Instead, she appreciates there being options.
On Tuesdays, they offered this Santa, and on a Wednesday, choose your day and go sit on this lounge, you know? I mean, as long as there was something offered.
And offering a Black Santa impacts generations to come.
Season's greetings and Merry Christmas to all.
In Houston, I'm Derek Lewis for BNC. The brick roads, Baptist churches, and school buildings are some of what's left today in Freedman's Town.
You have every institution that takes to make a society run existing here, built by our people, with our people, and connected to each other because they had no one else.
Zion Escobar is the executive director of Houston's Freedman's Town Conservancy. Established in 1839 inside Houston's 4th Ward, word spread of this community as a safe space for freed slaves.
They've heard about a place called Freedman's Town, where Black people can be free. You know, there's no threat of persecution of any sort. You can come here, learn a trade, use the trade, the skills you've already, acquired, and you can make money for yourself, build a house, and build a life.
And that's what happened. Shotgun houses, the homes of lawyers and pastors, are still standing today. Gregory School, the first public school for African Americans in Houston, is now an African American library. People not only survived here, but they thrived. 7 years after Juneteenth, wealthy former slaves put their money together to buy Emancipation Park in Houston's 3rd Ward.
So they use this place as a place to congregate, to just love each other, to educate each other, to recognize each other.
Lucy Bremont runs the Emancipation Park Conservancy. She says every year, people would come to celebrate their freedom.
People were dressed up, hats, gloves. We call it these days dress to the nine. Is it because you wanted people to say that you were prosperous?
Now, these women are working to keep these stories told.
Emancipation Park is strong and prepared for the future, and that generations after generations will help us perpetuate our story and come back in the next 150 years when we're 300 years old and celebrate Juneteenth here at Emancipation Park.
We are very much interested in the rebirth of Freedman's Town, right? Bringing back that Harlem of the South. It deserves to be honored, but we also need to see it and experience it and feel it.